What is up, everyone? It is Amin here once again, and welcome back for another one on the A-Team channel. Now, do you find yourself procrastinating or switching off as soon as you try and get on with something? Or do you put things off until the very last minute? Or do you find yourself that you can't be asked to do something? Look, if you've answered yes to any of these questions, then you've just found yourself at the right place at the right time, as I'm about to share with you a proven hack that will get you breaking out of this habit once and for all. Now, by far, one of the most common issues that I see students coming to me with is, how do I overcome laziness? Or how do I get motivated, And if you want me to be completely honest with you, watching this video or any video isn't going to solve this issue unless you act upon it yourself. In most cases, laziness is usually down to just you lacking some form of motivation or just feeling worn out. And for the most of it, you can easily snap out of it. Like, laziness isn't a chronic issue. I know some of you will act like it is, but it really isn't. For some people, laziness can be a real battle, and it's not always the case that they're not trying. However, what's preventing them taking action is something that is underlying and it needs addressing. So I'm also going to suggest how to deal with that today as well. All right, so right before we get into it, guys, if you are new here or you are revisiting, then make sure to hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell. This channel is all about bringing you up to the latest news, tips and advice and your studying journey over the coming weeks. There will be content that I'll be uploading that will benefit you immensely. So come on, get subscribed, join the team, and let's make 2021 our year. Have you noticed that no one actually enjoys being lazy? Like, lazy people are always moaning about being lazy. But that's also an intrinsic sign that we all want to improve our behaviors and we feel as though we can offer more. So I'm not going to be suggesting any generic topics in terms of how you should be working harder or waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning to overcome your laziness. So I'm just going to go into it. The first thing I want you to do when you're feeling like you lack motivation or you're just out of it, I want you to have some time out and I want you to dedicate 1 minute. Yep, so that's 1 whole minute, a whopping 60 seconds. And hear me out here. I want you to sit in complete silence and just have all of your thoughts removed from your mind for an entire minute. That's a challenge that I'm throwing out there. Seriously, guys, don't cheat and come here and be like, look, this didn't work. I'm being completely serious here. Sit in silence for 1 whole minute and just focus on your breathing. And if you can do this, immediately you'll be feeling a surge of energy. Like I'm telling you, this will shift your mood in a way you wouldn't have thought otherwise. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard it many times how breathing is a powerful tool, and you know, for quite some time I was also dismissive of that too. But seriously, before you start anything that requires a little bit of your focus and attention, do this and I can guarantee that your performance will be enhanced significantly. You know, it's so easy to scowl at someone for being lazy, and as I mentioned earlier, laziness has many underpinning factors and there's no point trying to overcome something when you don't even know the root cause of it. Now, as much as I would want you to do some soul searching here and find a psychiatrist to help you unravel your issues, this isn't going to be feasible for many of us. Instead, try and come to terms as to what is holding you back. And I do mean come to terms with it. Is it because you're afraid of failure, the task is too hard, you're aware of what others might be thinking of you, or you're just feeling low? Whatever it is, come to terms with it yourself. This will pave a way for you to deal with and overcome your issues. Try and write it down. Believe me, just by doing that alone can get rid of a lot of your anxiety and just lightens the load off your shoulders. Too many people are walking around with hefty baggages which eventually catches up with them. So journaling, writing, or simply tracking your thoughts can allow you to overcome your fears. Beat procrastination and laziness once and for all. Remember, you can fix all of the external factors around you, but if you're not settled internally, then changing all of those things won't suffice to anything. You know, these factors should not be undermined by any means. Have you ever noticed that when you do something regularly, it could be something as simple as going for a jog or whatever it may be, if you do it consistently and quite often, if you're able to sustain that level of behavior, things fall into place and start building up on one another. But let's say you suddenly decide to stop working out. You know, that initial effort of getting yourself back going again, it can be quite strenuous. A lot of the time we all fall, as it's very discouraging if you just focus on the end result. Do yourself a favor and break out of that mindset, because that mentality has been holding you back. Instead, start doing things on a daily basis where you set a small target for yourself. Let's say you want to run a marathon. Just the idea of that alone can be quite daunting, because a marathon is no joke. But let's say if you started off by walking a mile every day, well, let's even say that you can't, that's too much, so we'll start off with half a mile a day. Or if that's too much, we'll start off with 10 paces a day. The point is, if you make that consistent and you become persistent in doing that, after a couple of days, you can build up on that. And then after a few more days, you can build up on that further. That momentum will start to compound. The point is, if you don't take action now, don't be deluded in your mind that you're some sort of a superhero and you can overcome the greatest of odds by acting in one big goal. Look, I'm not doubting that your superhuman qualities by any means. Heck, we can use some superheroes out there right now. But the reality is, if you aren't acting with small amounts of effort right now, then what makes you think you can be acting a lot later when you're going to be required to do mammoth amounts of effort? See, it's very easy to come up with goals and just keep it to yourself so that when you flop, nobody gets to know about it and you can avoid the shame of failure from others. However, that also makes you quite complacent, unless you're someone who holds yourself, which not too many of us are like that. So instead, make it a challenge amongst your closest peers or your family. Believe it or not, we had a student here last year who challenged his dad, who is an engineer at Jaguar Land Rover, that he wouldn't get anything beyond a grade C in A-level physics. And lo and behold, guess what? His dad actually ended up getting a grade C in his A-level physics. But you know what? That challenge between the both family members got them both pumped up, and he actually ended up with the son getting a grade B overall. Now the father in the end turned around and said that, you know what, he was a winner regardless, purely because his son was able to get the grade that he wanted, which was the whole essence of all of this. So go out there, make some challenges, but make them meaningful enough to you. Well, I hope that you can now go ahead and put some of these tips and hacks into practice and really get yourself to overcome your laziness. If you found this to be of any value, then drop a like, share it with your friends. And here's another way of proving your accountability. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Come back on results day and show us your progress. And on that note, guys, my name is Amin, and I will catch up with you another time.
None of these toys on lease to made the whole year in a week to main chick out of their league to side chick out of their league to